When I was 14, our family joyously set off on an extended vacation in the family car, a very cool orange Plymouth Duster. We would travel from Los Angeles to Georgia just like every summer, but oddly this time didn't feel joyous at all. In fact, it felt dark and eerie, and when I said goodbye to my best friend this summer, I found myself giving her more than the usual hug. I also gave her all my prized possessions because I had the feeling I'd never return. 1 week later, traveling in the dark of night, on a lonely southern road, a speeding car came straight at us and we collided head on. Before the crash, I sat in my usual spot in the back seat between the bucket seats, when suddenly something told me to lie down even though I wasn't tired. Because I was lying down, I rolled onto the floor, suffering only minor injuries instead of being thrown through the windshield. Why did this happen, you ask? The explanation is simple. Because I'm psychic. No, I'm not. But that really was a true story. And see, there's the car right there. Don't worry, I live to tell the story. Personally, I find these stories of intuitive moments fascinating. It's just so weird how some people get a sense of something bad to come that's based on absolutely nothing. And others, well, they imagine the worst because they're simply perpetually freaked out individuals. Recently, it was announced that school children across the nation would be addressed by President Barack Obama, and some parents objected. The typical tolerant media acted appalled and treated them like overly imaginative, superstitious weirdos who, for no reason at all, were afraid of Obama. Gosh, I like doing that. Anyway, I believe they were well-informed parents, and the objections they had about letting their children participate in this activity were therefore legitimate. And I'm not just talking about all those creepy requests he originally attended for the kids before their parents found out. Many of these parents may have had cause to pause because, frankly, in the past months, they have seen traits in Obama that seem contrary to the values they work hard to instill in their kids. For instance, honesty.
I'll make our government open and transparent so that anyone can ensure that our business is the people's business.
Being responsible with money, especially other people's money.
Frankly, it's not really something I've followed closely. I didn't even know that Acorn was getting a whole lot of federal money.
Both the Senate and the House have voted to cut it off.
Not being a bully or befriending one. Never breaking a promise.
And as president, I'm going to make it impossible for congressmen or lobbyists to slip pork barrel projects or corporate welfare into laws when no one's looking, because when I'm president, meetings where laws are written will be more open to the public, no more secrecy. That's a commitment I make to you as president.
Regularly attending church, okay, not that one. Always bringing their report cards home. Selecting friends wisely. Respecting the elderly and people of all colors.
The point I was making was not that my grandmother harbors any racial animosity. She doesn't. Right. But she is a typical white person.
Don't be a whiner.
Senator Obama is blaming the news media, and especially Fox News, for Michelle Obama's high negative ratings.
That's a pretty...
I assume you're talking about Fox.
Well, that's a pretty big megaphone. And you'd be hard-pressed if you watched the entire day to find a positive story about me on that front.
But now you're being mentioned in the first week of his presidency?
Or...
everybody in Washington gets all wee-weed up.
Say wee-wee out loud in public. The importance of honoring the country, those who keep it safe, God, the other God. Oh, and always remember that having self-esteem is not thinking they are the center of the universe. The deal is kids are a parent's precious gift. Being that parents are responsible for shaping their children's future, if they have the feeling that something might derail what they think is best, it's not only their right, but their job to protect them from being exposed to it. Even when it's the President of the United States? Isn't that a little crazy? Well, in this case, maybe not. The fact is, this is a president who has commercials targeting their children, encouraging them to be connected to him rather than the country. He has websites that speak directly to them, requesting that they help him accomplish his agenda. Admittedly, he has an agenda for the youth that the press won't even address.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
He holds views on the lives of children that are frankly alarming.
40 million abortions. At what point does a baby get human rights, in your view?
Well, I think that whether you're looking at it from a theological perspective or a scientific perspective, answering that question with specificity, is above my pay grade.
And has hand-picked special czars who, let's just say when it comes to children, may not be on the same page as most. So obviously not all parents are going to get the same warm and fuzzy feelings about this stuff as other parents get. With all the pop culture influences kids are exposed to these days, parents have a really tough job. If they had a crystal ball and could see how everything would turn out, their job would be a lot easier. But like me, most of them aren't psychic. Their only tools are being informed and paying attention to that protective little something in their gut that tells them to steer their kids clear from anything they deem concerning.
Obama's gonna change it, Obama's gonna lead 'em. We're gonna change it and rearrange it. We're gonna change the world.